The standard in the super luxury 4x4 sector continues to be set by the Range Rover. No other car is quite as well able to combine the imperious qualities of a top luxury saloon with off-road abilities that would be limited only by the skills of its driver. A Rolls-Royce in the rough, there's nothing quite like it. Having single-handedly laid the foundations for the modern 4x4 luxury sector back in 1970, Land Rover's Range Rover assumed ownership of its own personal area of the market and has stood astride it like a colossus ever since. Rivals have tried to topple the icon, and though some have experienced success in certain areas, none have truly managed to eclipse the Range Rover's unique blend of capability and class. Now, the third generation version, launched in 2002, established a completely new super luxury sector for SUV ownership. And with enhanced engines in the improved model that we're looking at here, Land Rover is looking to push its flagship model that bit further out of reach. There's nothing quite like the feeling that you get sitting throne-like above it all at the wheel of a Range Rover. Luxury, comfort, refinement, craftsmanship, and outright performance all fused together in its imperious progress, whether that be on turf or on tarmac. Slot the beautifully crafted gear lever into drive and the car just glides away, unless you've the need to hurl it at the horizon, in which case the supercharged V8 petrol model makes 60 from rest in under 6 seconds, on the way to a limited top speed of 140 miles an hour. And there's a prodigious 625 Newton meters of torque. Now, that car has a 503 brake horsepower V8 supercharged engine borrowed from Jaguar, but most customers will probably choose another V8. The alternative is a V8 diesel, the TD V8 that I'm driving here, with 375 brake horsepower and still capable of 60 from rest in 8.6 seconds. Both engines are matched to 6-speed automatic gearboxes. The Range Rover has long been a master in getting its occupants across their chosen terrain with consummate assurance and comfort. This model aims to take things to the next level with its adaptive dynamic system. Now here, sensors monitor the dampers on each wheel 500 times a second to predict the optimum body and ride control settings to suit the driver's style and terrain. The terrain response off-road driving system features a sand launch control function for those days at the beach, while the rock crawl program has revisions to help tackle boulder-strewn riverbeds. There's also a gradient release control function for the hill descent control that lowers the Range Rover more carefully over precipitous descents in a manner that passengers will probably appreciate. No other vehicle takes this much pride in going where it probably shouldn't. The more a Range Rover changes, the more it stays the same. So while this current model has improvements to the lights and the bumpers aimed rather hopefully at reducing the impression of size, it remains as instantly recognisable and classy as ever. Taking pride of place is a new deeper front grille with crisp metal louvers sitting atop heavy-duty aluminium mesh. The 5-seater cabin looks as classy and cosseting as ever, with the clean, elegant controls and even higher quality materials. The big seats are the ideal place to sit out long journeys, and there's a whole host of technological gadgetry built in. At the back, this generation model certainly offers more head and legroom than you had in previous ones, but it's still not as great as you get in the kind of luxury saloon that would cost about the same. The rear door openings are a little narrow too. Still, the boot is vast, offering between 994 and 2,099 litres of space, depending on the position of the rear seats. Plus you've got this lovely split tailgate, so that you can watch Annabelle at a pony club or go bird watching in great comfort. At the wheel, the instruments are in the usual place, but they're not real instruments in the form that we're used to. This Range Rover replaces the traditional speedometer and rev counter clocks with digital facsimiles projected onto a 12-inch wide TFT screen. Now, in normal mode, it all looks pretty conventional, but as soon as you switch to one of the off-road modes, the system will then display a graphical diagram showing you which diffs are locked, which wheels are being driven, and much more. You can even customize the display to show things like outside temperature, your telephone settings, satellite navigation instructions, even wheel articulation. Now at the wheel, you've got all kinds of controls here, some like those you get on a console computer game, so that you can adjust all kinds of functions and controls without recourse to the main touchscreen in the center of the dashboard here. List prices suggest that you'll be paying in the £65,000 to £75,000 bracket for your Range Rover TD V8, with the 5-litre supercharged petrol model pitched at around the £80,000 mark. Now, the TD V8 competes directly with the Mercedes GL 420 CDI that costs around the same, but it lacks the Mercedes 7-seat capacity. The V8 supercharged petrol model probably competes most directly with Porsche's Cayenne Turbo that costs around £5,000 less, and offers a little more speed but considerably less off-road ability. You'll only get a choice of trim levels if you go for the TD V8 model, but across the lineup, equipment levels are as high as you'd have a right to expect for the sums being asked. All models get cruise and climate control, 9 airbags including a driver's knee airbag. You get an HDD satellite navigation system, a 14-speaker Harman Kardon surround sound stereo, heated windscreen, leather seats with a heated leather steering wheel. You also get an electric sunroof, a rear parking view monitor, 19-inch alloy wheels and rain-sensing wipers. Now, the petrol supercharged model only comes in the top autobiography trim level, and I'd need an entire extra film to go through the specification of that car. Now, recently developed features include the adaptive radar cruise control that works with the forward alert and emergency brake assist functions and offers you great motorway driving peace of mind that's further enhanced by the blind spot monitoring system that prevents you from moving out dangerously when you're changing lanes in front of close following traffic. There's also a superb surround camera system that uses no fewer than 5 cameras to somehow create a 360-degree helicopter view display that's on this touchscreen, this 7-inch touchscreen that's in the middle of the dash, to help with manoeuvring up to speeds at up to 11 miles an hour with options for selecting and zooming in. It helps you with close quarter parking, with low speed off-road work, even with attaching the tow bar to the back if you're towing a trailer. And talking of trailers, there's a trailer stability system that detects trailer sway and can correct it with opposite wheel braking. A V8 only engine range isn't going to get the Range Rover installed on the Greenpeace Christmas card list, but it's nevertheless true to say that both the current engines have more than a nod to issues of efficiency, with 7.4% cuts in both fuel economy and emissions. That means that the TD V8 Range Rover that I'm driving here manages 25.1 miles to the gallon on the combined cycle, which is slightly better than the equivalent Mercedes GL. The supercharged petrol model's figure is 19 miles to the gallon, enough said. But then there's only so much you can do with a luxury SUV weighing close to 3 tonnes. Emissions see the TD V8 diesel managing 299 grams per kilometre, while the supercharged petrol model puts out 348 grams per kilometre of CO2. Residual values will see the diesel version returning you 38% of its original value after 3 years of normal motoring. The Range Rover is stronger than ever in this guise, still imperious, instantly recognisable and king of the luxury SUVs. Enhanced engine technology partly addresses the running costs and environmental issues that have threatened to spoil the big 4x4 party. But of course there's only so much that can be done with a vehicle matching this car's description. Drive it through a river, drive it to the opera. it's as happy either way. Beautifully built, gorgeously finished, and astonishingly quick. Now, this car is never going to be all things to all people, but it probably gets as close to fulfilling that remit as any modern car is ever likely to get. The Range Rover is one of a kind.